Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really focused look actually at the promise that's kind of baked into a specific source title. It's an excerpt called Memory Tricks for Student Studies, and it has this subtitle: 8-10 Memory Tricks to Help Kids Better Retain Knowledge and Help Them in Studies Before the Examinations. Quite a mouthful.
Yeah, that subtitle really does more than just describe, doesn't it? It sets a very clear expectation. It's promising a specific, pretty limited set of techniques, just 8 to 10. And the implication is these few tricks can make a real, tangible difference in making information stick, especially, for learning and getting ready for tests.
Exactly. And our mission here, just to be clear, isn't to guess what those 8 tricks actually are, mainly because we don't have the full text. Instead, we're diving into the core idea that this title puts forward, which is this concept that tackling something as, huge as improving memory could maybe be boiled down to a small, manageable number of things you can actually do.
And thinking about why exploring that idea is relevant. Well, why is it relevant to you listening? Because honestly, whether you're studying for an exam or trying to pick up a new skill for your job or even just, keeping track of everything life throws at you, retaining information is fundamental. It just is. So the thought that there might be a clear, short list of tools to help with that's really appealing. It feels like a shortcut through all the noise.
It really does. It takes you from this kind of fuzzy idea of, I need to remember things better, to something much more concrete. Like, okay, here are 8, maybe 10 specific things I can try. What sort of things do you think would even make it onto such a short list?
Well, if you think about common learning science, a list that concise would probably zero in on the really fundamental, high-impact stuff. Methods that help structure information, maybe like chunking, grouping related things together. Or perhaps techniques that make information more vivid, more memorable, like using visualization or maybe creating simple mnemonics.
Like those rhymes or acronyms we all learned, PEMDAS, right? For math.
Or ROYGBIV for colors.
Or just making up a really silly mental image to connect 2 ideas.
Yeah.
So it's not just random tips, probably. It's likely built on principles, right? Principles that help our brains actually encode and then later retrieve information better.
Precisely. It suggests focusing on how we're interacting with the information, not just sort of passively taking it in.
Yeah.
Another really powerful one that might make the cut, spaced repetition. Revisiting material but at increasing intervals over time. Science shows that's incredibly effective for long-term memory. Way better than just cramming.
Oh, spaced repetition is huge.
Yeah.
So this title, it's not just promising a list, it's kind of implicitly pointing towards techniques that are actually rooted in how memory works, and then condensing them into a practical toolkit. What strikes me is the power of that number, 8 to 10. It just feels doable.
It definitely signals attainability, doesn't it? If someone gave you a list of, say, 50 memory tricks, it might just feel overwhelming. Like, where do you even start? But 8 or 10, that feels like something you could actually learn, practice, and, work into your study routine or your learning process. It gives you a clear starting point and a defined scope.
Yeah, it frames the challenge differently, makes it feel solvable, not this insurmountable mountain. It suggests that maybe significant improvement in your memory for learning could be just a handful of techniques away.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, learning today, we're just constantly bombarded with new information, aren't we? So having a defined set of tools, like this source title suggests, is incredibly valuable. It sort of empowers you, the learner, gives you some agency over your own retention rather than just feeling like you're stuck with whatever natural memory ability you happen to have.
Okay, so pulling this together, what this source title really highlights is a powerful value proposition. It suggests that effective memory for learning isn't some kind of innate gift you either have or don't. It's something that can be improved, maybe significantly, through a small, concrete set of techniques. It really points to the appeal of strategies that are actionable, bounded, and manageable.
It underscores the idea that understanding how to learn, how to remember, using specific methods, that's maybe just as important as the actual stuff you're trying to learn.
So the source promises 8-10 tricks. Maybe the final thought for you listening is this: what does it mean to approach improving your memory, your learning, by actively looking for a defined set of tools? Techniques like we mentioned, spaced repetition, visualization, chunking, rather than just hoping things stick. And how might exploring and maybe applying just a handful of those specific techniques change things for your own learning goals, whether that's for work or a hobby, or frankly, just staying informed in this busy world? Something to consider as you navigate your own information landscape.